Hello. So today we're going to be doing the 80 and 100 words per minute classes. Sorry I'm late. Really tired. I just felt it was very difficult for me to get out of bed again. Okay, let's have the window open. Browser. There's the video. Notepad++. Okay, I have everything set. I started this video yesterday, but I abandoned it. 2 minutes in, 3 minutes in. I only did the numbers practice portion of it. So we have plenty else to do. It's 9 more minutes left in the video. Okay, let's get started.
All right, and hopefully you caught on that very last one. I did say June 3rd. So got the RD on there, on that one, on that date, as opposed to June 3. All right, let's try some sentences. And these sentences, will get your fingers moving, and will be the words in these sentences will be focusing on final RF, final RV, and final TH. Ready? The surf was high. Tell us what you observed. She is very reserved. I served in the army. I tried to conserve my strength. Seth is down to earth. Did Keith tell Ruth the truth? His wealth is a myth. Beth was good in math. What is the width and the depth? Faith saw the youth in the booth.
Just like it. Only trouble I had was with the word observed. Read it wrong.
All right, let's try these words. Again, this is just for vocabulary development, and as well you may brief some of these words. So there may be some phrases in here that you brief as well. Again, if not, just go ahead and write them out. Here we go. Locate, connect, infect, correct, condition, possess, possession, position, represent, representation, represented, organize, organization, hospital, hospitalization, consider, consideration, identify, continue, continuation, indicate, indication, after, appropriate, operate, operation, assume, assumption, corporate, corporation, authorize, authorization, inform, recognize, January, March, recognition, information, February.
Okay, 2 more minutes left of this. Assumption, let me look that up. Assumption.
All right, let's do a little more number practice. And these numbers will contain point. So like it was
No thanks. Jury charge.
Welcome to literary and jury charge practice.
He takes out the cheese book. I'm skipping past it.
With some jury charge. Ready? There is a lot of pressure on juries to decide a case the first time to avoid the expense of another trial. The jurors often discuss the case, then later argue with each other about the case. This process is an important part of our judicial system. People do not always agree on who is guilty and who is not. This process enables them to have the opportunity to express their opinions, and they are the opinions of a group of people who probably have very different points of view. The points of view of each individual in the jury is important. The judge makes it clear in the jury charge what each jury member must do. After this, the jurors must tell the person they have appointed as their leader to inform the judge of the verdict. All jurors go back into court. The judge tells the audience in the court that the verdict will be read. The foreman reads the verdict. If the other attorney wishes, he or she may ask to have the jury polled, meaning that each member of the jury will be asked how he or she voted. The juror must stand up and one by one explain how they voted. The attorney does this in order to confirm that the jurors all did agree and that no one did so under duress. If anyone did not really wish to vote in this way, it is the time to let the judge know that he or she was not happy about the vote. Once that part is over and the verdict read, the trial is over. Jury members will be free to go home.
Okay. I had trouble with the word verdict. I kept forgetting how to write it.
All right, let's do some literary material.
Better not be the cheese book.
This is from the book Who Moved
My cheese? No. I'm moving on.
Let's finish up this jury charge. Ready? The jury is involved in several significant parts of the trial. The jurors are involved first in the jury selection portion of the trial. In the jury selection portion of the trial, the jury members are selected. A number of jurors are selected at this time to participate as jurors. The number of jurors selected is determined by the type of trial that is being conducted, whether it is civil or criminal, and by the rules that govern that court. After closing statements, the jury is once again involved in the portion called the jury charge. The jury charge is the portion of the trial where the judge instructs the jury on the law involved in the case. The judge tells the jurors what their duties are as jurors and explains the relevant law in the case. The jury is once again involved in the part where the jury is shut up while deciding the facts in the case. At that point, the jury decides upon one person to represent them as a leader in the discussion and as a representative.
Oh, there's a train coming. Let me mute my mic.
All right, let's get back to our literary material.
I'm skipping the cheese book.
Cheese book. Who moved my cheese?
Who moved my cheese? I don't care.
Some jury charge practice.
I'm glad there's chapters in this video, so I can skip the cheese book when it pops up.
Just want to glance through here, see if we have any. We have offenses. Offenses.
It's a little hard to write.
Bail. Bail, bond. Surety. Recognizance. You're released on your own recognizance. All right,
let me look up recognizance.
Give it a try. Ready? The defendant also has the right to present evidence and to have the court order all witnesses and evidence favorable to you in your defense at the trial. This is required by law. A person charged with a crime is entitled to be released on bail pending trial. Bail is security given for the release of a jailed person that ensures his attendance at all required court appearances. A person charged with an offense has a right to post bail in all cases except where the evidence of guilt is strong, that he committed certain offenses. Any person posting bail may be released on his own recognizance. Being released on your own recognizance means that you are released without posting bail at the discretion of the court. In setting bail, the defendant's personal life is taken into consideration. Many considerations are made with regard to the defendant's life. At the discretion of the court, bail may be posted in cash or by a bail bond. The person who posts the bail bond is called a surety. Individual sureties are persons who own real or personal property within the state with a net worth of at least the amount set in the order for bail.
That was pretty long. And that's the last thing for that video. Okay, we're moving on to Q&A. Everyone's favorite part.
Welcome to Q&A practice. Let's get started with a little two voice practice. And we'll start with the defense.
Defense.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Although you heard glass breaking, you didn't see anyone pitching a stone. I would see arms go up and rocks let loose. You would see that? Yes, I would. Were you able to see who these people were? I tried not to.
What?
Why not?
Yeah.
There's a very hard question to answer. I didn't want to assist the police in putting anyone in jail.
Oh, okay.
It's that simple. I have been in jail myself, and I just can't see it. You are saying that at a certain time you did hear glass breaking, and you say that you saw arms raised throwing stones at the glass, but you avoided seeing who was doing this. At times I did see the people who were throwing them, but I didn't know them. I had never seen them before. I just moved in this area. If it were someone you did know, could you have seen him at all times? If I had been keeping an eye on him? Well, not if you had been keeping an eye on him. Just simply in the course of standing there. would you have been able to identify everyone who threw an object at the time that the glass was breaking? Would you restate your question, please? Well, were there times when glass was being broken that you didn't see someone throwing an object? Yes, quite a few times. Quite a few times. I would hear the sound of glass breaking, and I would turn around, and there would be a broken window. Of course, I hadn't seen who had thrown the stone. You say you would have no hesitation about identifying David Albright in this proceeding because it is an informal proceeding. Is that correct? Yes. You know this proceeding could result in the termination of Dr. Albright. Yes, I know.
That was at least 100 words per minute. Definitely not 80. I got a few things wrong. Like I put some commas in places they didn't belong. Right, I didn't capitalize Albright.
In our transcript.
Then I spelled it wrong the second time around. Okay.
And we will start with the plaintiff.
Plaintiff.
Ready? You've indicated 2 X's and arrows, and that the location of the asphalt. That's correct. Does the asphalt go farther to the west than the crane? No, it does not. Would you put a north on there? North is here. Just put on the top north. Oh, okay. Now the block walls you referred to, right on there, Rancho, where Rancho Boulevard is, just put an arrow there. And the block walls you referred to, one is to the east, which would be in the front of the office, correct? There was a block wall right here, and the block wall goes all of the way down to about here. Put a B in front of the X so that XB means wall. Put the other line that you drew, if you would draw an arrow to indicate on Exhibit 2 how far back the block wall went. Back here. Yeah, just draw an arrow going like that. Now, if you would indicate the area where you turn your trucks around and the approximate area on the easement where that occurred. Well, the trucks come in. I assume this is the road coming into the back of our property. there's a dedicated street that dead ends into our property. You think it's where those two lines are? I'm not sure. I need to know where the road is before I could actually tell you. Let's make the assumption that the two lines going to the north is the street. Put ST in there. And not knowing whether that's true, we'll just assume. Now with that pretend street, in what approximate area do your trucks turn around? They used to go all the way up. There used to be a hill here, and then part of the time they'd either go that way or they'd go right here. Now they just all go right out here. They're out here right now. Now the easement area has been graded. Is that correct? This area right out here, yeah, it's graded. And there has actually been some additional dirt put on the property. No, there's been dirt taken off. In this area, there's been dirt taken off. Where is the fence? Strike that. Where is the gate that you put up? The gate we have put up is right here. And would you put a G by that? Okay. Now, when trucks turn around there, do you ever leave the trucks in the easement area? Parked out here? Yes. Yeah, they stay out there. And do they ever stay out there at night? Not very often, no. And do you have a recollection of how long you've been parking trucks out where you put that arrow? How many years? We park trucks out here, by the way. I thought I'd let you know that.
Oh, okay. It's the end of that. Moving on to the test.
This will be an 80 Q&A practice test. Plaintiff Attorney Mr. Swenson, capital SWENSON, Defense Attorney Mr. Johnson, capital JOHNSON. And we'll start the test with the plaintiff.
Plaintiff is starting.
Ready?
I'm ready.
And when you say she went to turn left, did you know where she was turning left into? Had no idea. Had you been on that road before? I travel that road all the time. As when I say a long time, I'm trying to establish. Yes, it's not the first time I've been on that road. Let me go back. You've been westbound there on Main before the day of the accident? Yes. Would it be fair to say that you were reasonably familiar with that area, with that road? Yes. Had you ever known there to be any tire marks in that area of road before the happening of the accident? Yes. Did you ever, after the happening of this accident, did you ever get out of your car to look at the scene of the accident? Oh, yes. Okay. How long did you stay at the scene of the accident? About 5 or 10 minutes. Okay. Now let me go back for 1 second. You mentioned that she, the other driver, came to a quick stop. She immediately turned to the left with no signals on, right? Correct. And then when you pulled your car to the right, to avoid her, what did the motorcycle behind you do, if you know? The one that was in the accident? Yes, ma'am. Yes, I know. What did he do? He was pulling out to the left of my car, gunning his motorcycle as fast as he could because he was thinking I shouldn't say that. He was trying to get around me and her. Okay. And so what you did was, as you were pulling to the right, you saw, or number one, you heard the motorcycle, the engine kind of get a little louder. Well, yes. Okay. And then did you see? But I mean, I also saw him out of my left window. Okay. And as you watched him, he was going around your left side? Yes. Okay. And do you know how close to your car the motorcyclist came when he passed your car? No. Was he within a matter of a foot or two more? Okay. Do you know? You mentioned you don't have an exact distance in your mind. You've got to understand something. This is all happening in split seconds. Ma'am, you know I'm fully understanding that. And I'm doing the best I can here, remembering every little detail. You're doing a great job. But at that point, everything is going on, you know. Okay, All I'm trying to. Don't take my questions that may somewhat be detailed as an expectation that you'll have an answer either. Okay.
That's it. Over here, I said Pennsylvania instead of I don't know, remember or something. It's Pennsylvania. Okay, let's move on to the 100 words per minute drill.
Hello, welcome to the 100 drill class. We're going to start off with some common words and focus on your accuracy. Ready? Fed, fill, fog, fat, map, mob, mat, mitt, mud, sat, sob, sit, sad, sub, top, tip, tar, till, tug, cap, kit, cod, keg, cuff, peg, pop, pit, war, wet, wag, wit, wad, hell, hut, hit, had, hog, rig, rat, rod, rut, red, stud, still, scat, sped, spar, swell, swat, trip, trot, clap, cliff, crib, crab, plot, plug, prod, strip, strap, scrap, sprig, spread.
Okay.
All right. I have a basic phrase drill for you. Here are your phrases, and then I'll give you your sentences. Ready? I shall, we shall, you shall, should I, should you, do you, how much. Here are your sentences. I shall tell you. Should you tell what you know? How much do you know? How much did you pay? How much should you pay? Should he pay the bill? Should I call you? I shall tell you how much. Should you do that? I shall pay it, but the rate is high. You shall be punished, but the punishment is fair. You shall finish your work. How much is there left? All right, and make sure when we do have those drills that you really focus on phrasing those words. That's going to save you several strokes. If you're phrasing two words that are possible to phrase, it's going to save you time. Okay, very important. All right, now I'm going to give you a multisyllabic word drill. Each of these words has 3 strokes, unless you have a brief for it, but I don't think that you're going to find briefs for these particular words because they don't come up all that often. All right, here we go. Ready? Amplitude, Capricorn, consensus, calendar, disgruntle, carbolic, dealership, custom, abutment, goalkeeper, gigantic, crackerjack, espresso, leadership, forerunner, disinfect, hypnotic, contraband, ceramic, complicate, hairdresser, dynamic, embassy, fiberboard, centrifuge, excessive, counterpart, ignorant, Hispanic, eccentric, generic, ellipsis, contingent, crystallize, circumcise, enforcement, falsetto, cucumber, horseradish, yellowish, pneumonia, cylinder, exercise, foolhardy, jerkwater, peacemaker, portfolio, drunkenness, agnostic, lethargic, jamboree, remorseful, subversive, vindictive, abusive, allergy, abundant, indecent, psychosis, thoughtfulness, incubation.
I had trouble with many of
Alright,
those.
so I have some sentences here that
let me look them up before we move on. Frontal. Sure, I spelled that one wrong. Yeah, I did spell it wrong. This frontal. Run. Oh. I need to add that to my dictionary. Do that right now. Okay, next one is equipment. No, a custom. Spelling it wrong again. A custom. Okay. Cracker Jack. Abutment. Spelled wrong. It's actually abutment. Hypnotic. I don't know how I got that wrong the first time. Dynamic. Embassy. Expressive. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Expressive, maybe? Counterpart. Ignorant. Generic. Circumcise. circumcise, circumcises, circumcising, I think that's it. Let's see. Next one. Emphasis maybe. Pneumonia. Okay. Cucumber. Cucumber. What else? There's horseradish. Foolhardy. Foolhardy. Ambery. Okay, I can spell that. Indecent. Psychosis. Okay, we're done with that. And P. Amp. I didn't even know that she started because she's saying the entire thing. I was waiting for her to stop talking. That's it for that. We're moving on to the jury charge and literary. Why is she whispering? Oh, I didn't have the browser up.
And it says, take heart. You don't need a sweatsuit to stay in shape. Ready? Sam, 89, is cultivating cabbage in his backyard in Coopersburg, Pennsylvania, while his wife Liz, 91, is tying up sagging tomato plants. Next door, his neighbor is riding a stationary bike on the back porch, trying to tie up some sagging parts of his own. Sam and Liz keep their lawn as closely cropped as a GI's sideburns. Sam tells his neighbor that maybe some people would do as well to push lawn mowers as to ride bikes that go nowhere. The latest medical knowledge is beginning to bear him out. Recent studies show that even mild physical activity is helpful in counteracting the effects of a bad diet or in lowering cholesterol and high blood pressure. and the new findings make sense. Despite what athletic shoe and yogurt ads would have us believe, only 10% or fewer of U.S. adults exercise vigorously and regularly. The failure of the fitness movement in the last 20 years has been severe enough to suggest that we should try a whole new approach away from performance and toward overall health and well-being. We don't come here to bury exercise, only to redefine it so its benefits are more accessible to those of us who need it most. For starters, we need to appreciate the value of physical activity that has nothing to do with putting on a sweatsuit or counting sit-ups. Even routine physical activity can help protect against heart disease, whether it produces a target heart rate or not. Exercise gotten in large sweat-producing chunks counts, but so does exercise gotten in bits and pieces. Body fat can be burned by walking a dog, as well as by running a marathon. Each works. Where's the proof? Well, a study found that exercise levels of 2,000 calories a week afforded significant protection from heart disease. Most of those calories, however, were burned during day-to-day activities like walking and stair climbing, and through light sports such as golf.
Climb. Right, climb. I was writing it wrong. Ad starts at 1 minute.
Another study from the Health Institute held a study of 12,000 high-risk men analyzed by Dr. Arthur Leon of the University of Minnesota School of Public Health, found that men who engaged each day in at least 30 minutes of moderate physical activity had 1/3 fewer fatal heart attacks than those who did less than 30 minutes a day. Those doing more than an hour of similar activity daily had no greater levels of protection. In a similar study.
Okay, we're gonna take a little break. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back.
Found.
Where is the suggestions? If it was behind the Notepad++ window.
That a moderate level of fitness offers a considerable benefit over a sedentary level. You get much more benefits out of being just a little bit more active. For example, going from being a couch potato to taking a brisk walk for a half hour several days a week can drop your risk of a heart attack dramatically. This is a major victory for walkers, golfers, homemakers, and fix-it types. Clearly, there's more room on the fitness bandwagon than anyone previously thought. Miles jogging and toes touched? Why not leaves raked, laundry hung to dry, or elevators avoided? This new way of playing the fitness ball game has especially good news for anyone in favor of saving a nickel. Greater self-sufficiency can help us burn calories instead of cash at the health club. Exercise has been portrayed as the universal elixir. The more it hurts, the more it heals. But that kind of fitness has flopped because aerobic exercise is seen as boring, time-consuming, strenuous, and impractical. Jogging doesn't clean the rain gutters on the house or get the wash done. Not a single exercise currently endorsed by the fitness establishment is capable of producing anything other than sweat and muscle tone. For a nation raised on practical wisdom and the work ethic, that's been hard to accept. Though we may care about our health and the way we look, those concerns pale next to our need to be rewarded for our labors. Habitual exercise, of course, can strengthen the heart's ability to pump the blood. But what strengthens the pump doesn't necessarily clean out the pipes, and it can be downright dangerous for people with coronary artery problems. As highly fit as 10-mile-a-day runner Jim Fix and Olympic rower Jack Kelly were, both had fatal heart attacks caused by blocked coronary arteries. A person's fat consumption, cholesterol level, blood pressure, lifestyle, whether you are smoking or drinking or both, and mental outlook may be as important as his or her aerobic power. It's time we stopped rushing from work to get to an exercise class only to feel justified in eating double bacon cheeseburgers. The major lifestyle diseases, heart, bowel cancer, hypertension, that exercise is supposed to combat can also be deterred by combining exercise with a low-fat, high-fiber diet rich in complex carbohydrates. Once you're eating sensibly, there are plenty of things you can do to burn the calories without health club hogwash. 1. Make chores count. What's got 4 walls, a yard, and the potential for offering more forms of exercise than any fitness device ever designed? Yes, the average home. between the sweeping, scraping, painting, polishing, shoveling, hammering, weeding, vacuuming. There's not a muscle of the body untouched. 2. Add resistance activities. These maneuvers, which provide resistance that tones and strengthens muscles, include chores such as splitting and stacking firewood, raking, scrubbing floors, or even kneading bread, and sports such as golf, if you carry your clubs, hiking in hilly terrain, gardening, skiing. So why hoist dumbbells? Lifting and carrying a baby will do plenty for your arms and shoulders. 3. Try mini walks. At the office, take long cuts to the bathroom or copier. Why not phone someone down the hall when you can go visit them? Treat yourself to fresh air at lunchtime. Go for a walk. 4. Climb more stairs. Up to 4 calories are burned for every 10 steps climbed. 5. Stay on your feet. The 10 to 20 calorie an hour difference between standing and sitting can add up. By stretching as you stand, you can burn even more calories. Likewise, pacing burns more calories than standing, about 1 for every 14 to 18 steps. 6. Park far from the maddening crowd. You can burn extra calories each day by taking it a little further and parking your car in a remote area of an office or shopping mall parking lot. This will add to your steps. The past 20 years have been less of a fitness boom than a battle. Many fitness efforts fail, not because we don't try, but because we try too hard. The solution is a moderate approach. Gradually, your life with light, energizing, and productive activity rather than besiege it with useless workouts. It's the way to achieve real fitness because it's the only way that will last.
Oh god, that was really long. That was 12 minutes? Almost 13.
Okay.
I got most of that
some
wrong.
Straight testimony here.
Testimony.
Witness. Okay. Here we go. But he was nice. He was real nice to me. Made a joke about it. He said, "Boy, I have really got me a dandy wife. She is hearing things now." But I didn't find out until later that it was something that went along with the problem. I had no idea. I was just scared at the fact that things were happening to me that I didn't understand. Please excuse me. The longer it has gone on, the less I feel about wanting to handle it mentally. Then there were aches. My neck was hurting. My back was hurting all the time. Upper back, up in here. And these muscles felt like somebody hit me with a truck. And the headaches. I had what I would call a sharp shooting pain. You see, I have had a little headache once or twice in my life, and that is the extent of what I would call a headache. And I never had a toothache or never had a headache. So when I got the headaches, at first, they were a pressure feeling. But then on the left side mostly, I started getting a shooting pain that would go from this area back up into here. I had that every day, all day, morning, night. It didn't matter. I would wake up at night. I wasn't sleeping. I was taking drugs, aspirin, I mean. That's about the extent of anything that I ever took. I started taking all kinds of aspirin and all those different brands. I've got bottles left at home where I would try several of one kind and think, well, maybe this will work. And we still have got half of the bottles from about 5 or 6 different kinds that I didn't use. It just seemed like the longer everything took place, the worse I was becoming instead of getting better. I mean, that was my feeling. Then there was that snowstorm last year in April. I do remember when we had like 4 feet of snow. I was at work and they didn't shovel the lot or where the parking area was, where I was. I had my own shovel and I did shovel that out. I stepped out in the snow. It was about a 3-foot bank of snow, and I stepped in it and twisted my ankle just enough that I felt a little pain. And I think that I'm paranoid at the fact that I am going to have to go through another 2 years of not being able to walk or dance. The only thing that I found out, and I was not even aware of, is that the pads on my feet from being a dancer were quite well used. They explained it to me, but no problems with my feet or anything, or ankles or legs. It's a long answer.
Yeah, it was pretty
You
long.
had a lot to say.
It was like 5 minutes long.
Okay. Got a couple more minutes. I'm going to read a story to you called Once on Horseback, Nothing Stops Paul Revere. Ready? Rachel's voice rose up the stairway. Why can't a younger man carry this message in the dead of night? You have 7 children, Paul. Yes, and it is for them I ride. Sarah sat up in bed. Quietly she crept to the stairs. Under the railing she watched her father and stepmother in the cold light of the April moon. I can't understand why you're always the one sent. Ride to New York, ride to Philadelphia, and now tonight, ride to Lexington. Maybe I'm the best rider the Patriots have. Sarah's father smiled and ran his finger down his wife's cheek. Sarah drew back. Rachel Walker had been her father's second wife for only a year and a half. Sarah was 12 now, in this year 1775, and remembered her own mother very well, remembered the same gesture made to her. Sarah tried to swallow the sudden tightness in her throat. She started quietly back up the stairs. "Be careful then, Paul," Rachel said gently. Sarah leaned forward again. Just in time, she saw the door quietly closing and their dog's tail disappearing through the opening. Sarah could not help herself. "Rachel," she whispered. The dog went out too. Rachel glanced at the dog's sleeping place by the fire. "Oh dear, yes. Well, he'll be back by morning. I can't risk opening the door again. It's nearly bright as day out there, and time for the British night patrols to be out. You might as well come down," she went on. "We'll have a cup of tea. There's a blanket by the fire." As Sarah lifted the cup, she watched Rachel. It was Rachel that was up in the bedroom, tending to the crying baby, when Sarah heard a scratch at the door. What could it be? Should she open the door when Rachel had once already warned her not to? Scratch, scratch. It went again. Carefully, Sarah slid the bolt. In a chill of blast air, the dog ran in and sat down panting at Sarah's feet. A rolled piece of paper hung from his collar. Sarah bent over and untied it just as Rachel came down the stairs. "Read it, Sarah." Sarah unrolled the note. "Tie my spurs to the dog's collar and send him back to me. Get them quickly, Sarah." Rachel pulled the narrow belt from around the waist of her robe and handed it to Sarah. "Tie them now. Hurry. Can you imagine?" Sarah's fingers were all thumbs. At last, she made a final knot. She scooted the dog to the door and opened it quietly. The two men were walking down the street. She dared not make the noise of the latch clicking, so she held the door closed and waited. Scratch came a sound at the door. Sarah rushed to open it. The dog ran into the room. His collar was empty. "Thank God," she said. "Once he is on horseback, nothing will stop Paul Revere." Okay, that concludes our literary and jury charge class for the 100 class. Have a great
Okay, moving on to Q&A.
Hello, this is going to be some 100 Q&A practice, and the subject is inheritance. It's going to start off with the plaintiff attorney. Ready? "Mrs. Mills, where did you get the $13,000? "I sold the jewelry that I got from my mother." "Did you get a money order or cash for that $13,000? "I think I got actual cash." "To whom did you sell this jewelry?" "I sold it to 2 different people. I sold one ring for $8,000 and a pair of earrings for $5,000. "Did you get anything else at the time your mother passed away?" "No, that was all." Did each of your brothers and sisters get the same amount?" "I think some of them got more, and some did not get anything. 2 of my sisters are very well off. They didn't get anything. How many brothers and sisters do you have? I have 3 brothers and 3 sisters. How many of your brothers and sisters got shares amounting to $13,000? Only 3 of us. How old was your mother when she died? She was 72. Where did your mother die? She died in the hospital. Isn't it a fact that your mother was in a home? No, sir. My mother was never in a home. Isn't it a fact that she was in a mental institution at one time? No, sir. She lived with one of my brothers until she fell. Mrs. Mills, yesterday you testified that your mother lived with one of your sisters. Isn't that right? My mother? Yes. No, I never said that my mother lived with one of my sisters. She did live with one for a short time, but I didn't mention that. She lived with one of my brothers until she fell and had to be taken to the hospital. What hospital was your mother taken to? I don't remember the name. She was only there for 3 days when she passed away. Mrs. Mills, what else did you get from your mother? I didn't get anything else. Where did you get the balance of the money that made up the $14,000 in the account? What $14,000? You told us yesterday that you withdrew $27,000 from the account. You also said that you started out with a balance of $3,000. Then you said you got $13,000 from the sale of the jewelry. Where did the rest of the money come from? The rest of the money came from the sale of my car. How much did you get for your car? I got $9,000 for the car. Okay, I'm going to switch transcripts. This is going to start out with defense. Ready? Mr. McDonald, from the report, it shows the Ford pickup was 12 years old. Do you know if the Fargo Wells Company had recently purchased this pickup truck for company use, or if they had owned it for 12 years? They had owned it for 12 years. Did you know of any problems with the vehicle? Did it need new parts? For example, headlights, brakes, tail lamps, windshield, or anything? It did not. As far as you know, everything was in working order? Yes, sir. The cause of the accident, in your opinion, wasn't in any way caused because of any mechanical defects in the pickup? Not to my knowledge, no. Did you see the plaintiff at all prior to the actual impact? Yes, I did. When you first saw the plaintiff's vehicle, where were you in relation to the stop sign that was on North Dakota Avenue? I saw his vehicle when I was leaving the number 2 lane. I was starting to enter the number 1 lane. Would this be the front of your vehicle? Yes. You were just starting to enter the number 1 lane? Yes. Okay. And where was the the plaintiff's vehicle when you saw him at that time? He was in the number 1 lane. Okay. And how far to the north of you was his front bumper from your left side? I don't know. Would the front of his bumper have been south of the north side of North Dakota Avenue if it had been extended all the way into the street? No. It would have been farther to the north than that? Correct. Would you say it would have been farther to the north by 1 or 2 vehicle lengths? 2 vehicle lengths. Did you arrive at a determination at that time when you first saw him as to how fast he was going? No, I didn't. Did you at any time arrive at a determination as to how fast he was going up to the point of where he struck your vehicle? No. So is it fair to say at this time you have no idea how fast he was going? True. Did you stop at the stop sign of North Dakota before you went across Van Buren Road? Yes. Did you come to a stop before the stop sign or at the stop sign, or did you slide past the stop sign and stop? I stopped at the stop sign. Did you stop at any subsequent time prior to your seeing the plaintiff's vehicle? Before you saw his vehicle, did you stop at any time from the time you stopped at the stop sign until you were crossing the street? No.
Time for the test. The test that I'm not gonna pass. If that Q&A.
Hello, this is a Q&A test for the 100 class. Plaintiff attorney is Mr. Layton, Leyton. Defense attorneys Mr. Carson, Carson. Again, plaintiff attorney Mr. Layton, Leyton. And defense is Mr. Carson, Carson. And this will start out with the defense.
Defense.
Questioning. Ready? You used to do office work? Correct. Okay, so we'll have to assume it was a sit-down job. Correct. You sat at a desk? I didn't do much. but you sat at a desk? Correct. You had a computer at the desk? Correct. Thank you. Did you answer telephones? No. Okay, continue, counsel. However, you reported that your last day of work was in February 2011, and you worked light duty until your last day of work. What happened to make you stop working on a date in February of 2011? I was hopping on this leg because I was braced on this leg. When you say this leg and this leg, can you use right and left so that the court reporter knows what? It was the left leg. I was hopping on my left leg because I was on a brace. That's when I slipped, and that's when all the torque went, and that's when I wasn't able to really keep myself stable from the injuries. So you slipped in the office, in the station house? Oh no, at home. Okay, and what did you slip on? On the floor. Okay, did you fall down? Correct, yes. Were you able to get up? Yes, slowly. Okay. Let's be clear. Were you alone in the house when you fell? Yes, I was. And you got up on your own? Yes, I did. How long did you remain on the ground after you fell? I don't know. It could have been. To me, it felt like forever. I'm not sure. Did you suffer any additional injury that you didn't have on January 1? Did you hurt your back? Did you hurt your hip? Did you hit your head? Did you suffer any additional injuries that you didn't have before you fell? No. So all the injury that you're alleging in this case occurred on January 1. Is that correct? That's correct. That saved you 5 minutes, counsel. Yes, whatever works. We're on the same team on this. Yes, indeed. Can we go off the record for a second? Yes. Let's go back on the record. Okay. So you fell in your home on a date in February of 2011. You injured yourself mopping up after a fire on January 1st, 2011. Are there any other body parts besides the ankle, right foot, right knee, right hip, and lower back that you injured on January 1st, 2015? No. Okay, what is the current state of those injuries? How are you feeling today as we sit here in court with regard to your right ankle? Is this the same, better, or worse type of a question, counsel? Yes, it is. That's how I want you to express yourself. He's asking you, and he will for every one of the body parts he just mentioned. Are you feeling better? Are you feeling worse? Or the same from the date of injury to today? It's worse.
Okay, I did badly on that. In my defense, 4 people talking at the same time. It was defense counsel, and then it was the court, and then it was the witness, and then the court again. Okay, that's it. That is it for the stream, too. It's been a solid 2 hours, I would say. Close that. I'll just end the stream here. I will be back tomorrow to play Yakuza Kiwami 2. We need to get through the next chapter. Probably get through 2 chapters. That's it for the stream. Goodbye.